Darklings, lightlings, hybrids, and everyone in between, how are you today? I hope you're well. At least, well enough, you know. Anyway, today I am going to do a VR to Abby the Witch, beautiful lady, and she created a hashtag, and I thought it was brilliant to explore who we are outside of witchcraft. It is hashtag more than a witch. Number one, what's your name? Any stories or meanings connected to your name? So, my actual name is Courtney. I think a lot of you know that. Uh, and it's without the U, okay? Without the U. Drives me nuts when people put the U in my name. It's an old Norman um, originating name, introduced to England after the Norman conquest of 1066. In the 80s, my mother loved the name. She seen it on one of those cards, like in stores that have names and like meanings associated with them. And the one that she had found with my name, it had said something like courageous and unbreakable. And she named me with the intent of what she had read. So I thought that was cool. My witch name is Courtney Ravenkist, and I adapted that recently, and it's gonna stay. I've always had a very close association with ravens, and I mean, they've been around me my whole life. A lot of signs I get come from them. A lot of messages I get come from ravens, and with my work with Odin and such as well, um, I experience a lot of cool stuff with ravens. But not long ago, one of them flew from the sky and its claws went into my hair, and it continued on with another raven. And I was just like, oh, hey, Munin and Hugin, you know, how you doing today? Tell Odin I said hi, you know. I adopted the name Courtney Ravenkist. I was kissed by a raven then, or touched at least, but whatever. Number two is, how old are you? Ancient. Ancient. But in this life, I'm 34, which means I'm only getting more ancient. Number three, Western or real sky astrology, and what are your big three? So I went from Western on to true sidereal or real sky. But I'll give you my big three of both. Western, I'm Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon, and Libra Rising. In True Sidereal, I'm Libra Scorpio Cusp, and Libra Moon and Virgo Rising. But I did look up some interesting stuff like around my birthday, and that happened in the sky, and I thought it'd be cool to share. By NASA's thing or whatever, sky, during the time of my birth, it did show the sun like in Scorpio, but the moon was definitely in Libra. I couldn't see any of the other planets. I'm just going to go by the true sidereal chart then. But there was also a supernova that happened apparently the night I was born too. Thought that was cool. Like, way to make an entrance, right? Number four, did you grow up in a religious household? What religion, and did it influence your current spiritual path? My family wasn't like crazy religious. My mother and dad just kind of believed, oh, there's God and he loves me for my heart. I don't need religion or church to be loved by God, type of deal. And I myself, though, from a young age, started seeking. I went to many different types of Christian churches, Baptist, Pentecostal, yada yada, and also studied with Jehovah's Witnesses in the family. I even went to Catholic churches, just seeking, and around like 14 or 15, something like that. I veered more toward Wicca, and then it went from there. I had friends who were satanic, and I observed them and how they practiced. And I was just always, seeking. I wanted answers, and those religions didn't have all the answers for me. And in fact, when people were trying to teach me those religions, when I would like go to church or whatever, I would end up pissing them off because I asked too many questions and asked about contradictions I would find that just confused me. And I didn't mean any offense by it. It just, I really wanted to know the answers. And these people claimed to have the answers through God, and they didn't. So I ended up doing Wicca in my teens and observing my friends who were satanic, and always kind of lead towards the occult. Even as a kid, though, I had interests in the occult. I would see it on TV or something, and I'd just be like, ooh, that, even though now that I'm older, I know it isn't like Hollywood portrays it, but you know what I mean. Number 5, what are you manifesting for your future? I want to raise my babies, and then I want to wander. I want to disappear in the wind and go wherever I may, travel, just go, be free. I ultimately seek freedom. And then when I'm done with that, I want to come back and live in a little cottage in the woods and help my babies raise my grandbabies, pass down some of my knowledge and such of the ancestors, and who knows, maybe even witchcraft. Number 6, do you have a favorite season, and what time of year makes you feel authentically you? Fall through winter. Always. Since a child, it's always been the time of year I love, and I feel in more high spirits. It may sound kind of cliche because of the witch thing, season of the witch or whatever, but it's the atmosphere, the air, the shift in all of it. I just love it. I find it so beautiful. All right, number 7. Do you have a favorite color? Do you feel this is your aura color? If not, what do you think it is? Well, black. As you can tell, my whole wardrobe is like basically black. I have like 50 black tank tops, 20 black shirts, Anyway, and neon green, because I know some people will be like, black ain't really a color, but it is, darling, and it's a beautiful color. But neon green is my other one, like, that I usually answer. I just love that color. I do like purple as well, but if I had to choose, it would be neon green and black equally. As for my aura, I'm not sure. I always wanted to know what my aura looked like, though, so if any of you can read auras, tell me. Tell me in the comments. All right, number 8. Do you have a job, career, lifestyle that makes money or helps support you and your family? What do you do? Well, this makes me a little sad. No, but for 13 years, I was a nurse tech, and I loved my job and the people that I cared for. It was just my thing. My mother was also the same profession. She actually trained me when I first became a nurse aide, and we worked together for years. And I was really young. I was like just turned 18 when I went to school for it. So I absolutely loved it. But, excuse me, I hurt myself a couple times while doing this job, and it really broke my back down. But also, I have 3 autoimmune disorders, need hip replacements, and I have quite severe arthritis. So currently, I'm waiting on disability, unfortunately, and I hate talking about that because of my pride. I really want to go back to being a nurse tech. It was amazing. So now I try to make passive incomes by things like writing my books and publishing them on Amazon, or tarot reading, doing readings on Ko-fi. Um, or, I mean, if I could find anything within my ability to do around here, I am open to that too. Uh, yeah, so thank God I have my fiance. Number 9, what are some things that makes you unique and an individual? Just one thing? No. I always was a bit of a oddball. But I'd have to say working with the essence of death, maybe. And I mean, it's kind of a thing that runs in my family, really. The women of my family. My grandmother was like me, could see and communicate with spirits, but it was like a big part of her life that she struggled with as well. And she could also do the same thing I can, and that's where if I'm around somebody and I know they're going soon or whatnot, I can sense it. Sometimes even smell it, even on people I walk by on the street. When I did work in healthcare facilities, even if somebody looked healthy and was doing well, I could sense that they were going to go soon. And I would look at like coworkers and be like, we need to watch this one. And they'd be like, why, they seem fine. And I'm just like, we need to watch them. And sure enough, they would take a turn for the worst, unfortunately. But I could tell down to their last hour, last few minutes, when they were going to go. And kind of like, for example, I went for a walk just before COVID and all of that was coming to like the Ireland area. And I'm walking and I just stopped suddenly and I smelled death everywhere. And I'm looking around and I ask my son, do you smell that? Is there like an animal nearby or something? And he's like, no, I think you're a little crazy. And I'm like, I'm not crazy, son, but I smelt death lingering in the air. And I said, death is coming. And it came, unfortunately. And also, that is the year that all of my family passed. And just before each of them passed, my whole body, I thought it was like my disabilities, but my whole body would swell, become extremely painful. Um, I think I sensed and knew it. I just didn't know who. And I didn't want to believe it. So, number 10, what advice would you give your younger self? Love yourself more, and people are not cruel to you because of you. They're cruel to you because of them. Number 11, interests, hobbies, and activities outside witchcraft. I have quite a few. I mentioned writing books. I love to read. I love studying history. I love gaming. That's my thing. Charity work if I can. Like when I was in New York and able to walk down to the shelters and such, I would love volunteering or doing things like with the homeless. My sons and I would take and go get some bags of groceries as well. We always knew the homeless in our city where they slept, and we would bring them bags of food on some weekends that I could afford it. I just like making people feel good like that, or helping if I can, because I know what it's like to be down and stuck. I know what it's like to be hungry. So that really makes me feel good as a person to make that difference. And I adore taking care of animals, drawing, arts and crafts, which I want to get into more. I like visiting my friends. She has like goats and horses, and I played with the goat and love playing with the horses. I used to actually ride horses with her. Can't anymore because of my hips and back. But oh, man, it was lovely to see my kids get to. And I love the goat. Okay, I could not leave it alone. It was so cute. I want a goat. Um, also, I like to watch movies and TV shows. And recently I've been getting into NFT art, creating digital art. And I love paranormal investigating or going to old cemeteries, anywhere that can give me a glimpse of past times or history. All right, guys, and that was the tag. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.